Good evening. Tonight we will discuss the philosophy of Wicca. This is something I'm asked about frequently, and the answer will change a little bit depending on who you ask and what branch of Wicca they practice. Now, this is generally because even just defining the word philosophy can be a little bit problematic. But in general, what I'm going to say in this video will hold true for most types of Wicca. So Wicca is a beautiful religion full of love and joy. In its purest form, Wicca lacks the idea of original sin and the very notion of happiness and salvation being possible only in the afterlife is not a part of any branch of Wicca. The music of Wicca is joyous, expressing love and companionship. This love and joy comes primarily from Wicca's close link with nature, a link which is reminiscent of what the people in ancient times may have experienced. Is it identical? Of course not. We don't live in identical times, so everything is a little bit different anyway. But in general, probably the close link with nature that Wicca experiences now is similar to the link that ancient peoples had with their natural surroundings. Ancient people lived in harmony with the land, mostly out of necessity. They were a part of nature, not separate from it. They didn't have much of a choice. They took only what they needed, and they gave back when they could. They respected both plants and animals. The natural order of things included humans. They were not in addition to nature. They were simply a part of it, and they knew that. Now, sometimes when you say Wiccans respect nature, or ancient people were a part of nature, someone assumes you mean that they were vegetarian or vegan, and this is clearly not the case. The ancients were certainly not vegans. They did indeed hunt so that they could eat. They had to. But they had an innate respect for what they killed. They used as much of the animal as possible, and they didn't kill more than they needed. They didn't take more than they had to. The animal was honored for its sacrifice, not simply killed, consumed, and then the rest discarded. Ancient man had a powerful and unique link with nature. Most modern men and women have lost this link with nature, mostly because they are no longer are directly dependent upon nature for their survival. For most people, food is purchased at supermarkets. Shelter is obtained through the purchasing of a house or the renting of an apartment. And clothing can be found at your nearest department store. You don't have to go out to nature to obtain these things. So modern humans don't always realize how necessary nature is to everyday survival. Now, there are, of course, exceptions to this. There are people who, of course, still farm because if they didn't, other people wouldn't eat. We ourselves have a small hobby farm. So there are people who absolutely realize where their food comes from. They respect it every single step of the way. But the majority of people these days don't really have that connection anymore. It's kind of been lost in our consumer-driven world. Wiccans see nature in a slightly different light. Even in a world full of technology and mechanics, Wiccans strive to find a connection to nature. A Wiccan understands that everything is alive and connected. We're all a part of each other. A Wiccan might take a walk through the woods and stop to touch a delicate flower or hug a tree, knowing that in some way this love and joy is transmitted and understood, and that it will be reciprocated in some way. We're not sure how, but just giving a little appreciation to nature makes a difference and is a part of most branches of Wicca. If you wish to experience this type of link for yourself, try taking a walk through a wooded area. Find a large tree like a pine or an oak or whatever you really enjoy and whatever trees grow in your area. Sit with your back pressed firmly against that trunk. Close your eyes, relax your body, and simply open your mind. Gradually, you will feel exhaustion, anger, and tension disappear as it is absorbed into the tree and dispersed into the earth. Allow yourself to absorb a sense of comfort and stability from the tree. When you feel ready, thank the tree, get up, and continue on your walk. A simpler approach is to take the time to appreciate nature as it exists all around you. Nature is around you all of the time, even if you live in the heart of a big city. Acknowledge the trees, the plants, and the animals that share your environment. They're there, even if you have to look for them. If you can, go barefoot through the grass. Now, this is not possible for everyone, but if you can, make contact with the earth below your feet as you walk around barefoot. Again, be careful. This is kind of area specific. If you live in an area where there's a lot of broken glass, for example, you might not want to do that. Just try respecting nature and respecting all it represents. This also means caring for nature the same way nature cares for you. People are a part of nature, whether they acknowledge this consciously or not. Connect with people, be among people, and offer assistance when you can. But do not seek to rule another's life just because you helped them. Let them live their own life. Even when you help them significantly, they're still their own person. Let them live their life. And you should live as you will, but bringing harm to none. Remember, Wicca, unlike some other types of paganism out there, does subscribe to the Wiccan Rede, and the Wiccan Rede does tell you not to hurt anyone, but do whatever you like, just don't bring harm to anyone. Wicca is a religion full of magic and love, and this is reflected in its rituals. Its philosophy is no more complex than the deep and abiding respect for nature that this religion engenders, and this respect is revealed by the care most Wiccans show all that exists within the natural world. Wiccans aren't perfect, but in general, if you're going to call yourself Wiccan, you should have a respect for nature, and you should try to show that respect in your actions and your words. Thank you for watching. Blessed be.